exports by introducing new or improved products?
Question number 5, the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Has the New Zealand Superannuation Fund invested 40% of its assets in New Zealand? And if not, what was the percentage in 2008 and what is it now?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the answer to the first question is no, it hasn't yet invested 40% of its assets in New Zealand. In 2008 and now, the percentage depends a bit on how one measures it. But if you exclude cash and include foreign exchange hedging, the New Zealand investment has risen from $3.2 billion to $4.6 billion. On the same basis as a percentage of total investments, they've increased from 26.6% to 28.6%. The Super Fund has identified a number of New Zealand investment opportunities, including, I presume, the government share sale coming up, but it will remain disciplined.
The Honourable David Parker.
Why is the proportion of the Super Fund invested in New Zealand not much different than it was in 2008 when a promise was made to lift that to 40%?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the member is misrepresenting the statements made at the time, and if he wants the answer to that question, he should go and ask the New Zealand Super Fund. What I can tell the member is that the sale of government shares in energy companies will assist in the process.
The Honourable David Parker.
Supplementary. Has he ever said the reason more of the Super Fund wasn't invested in New Zealand was that the government's economic management hadn't created enough growth and investment opportunities?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, it's up to the New Zealand Super Fund to make its own investment decisions. As a member will know, that is how the legislation is structured, and government instruction to them would actually breach the law.
The Honourable David Parker.
Was he implementing his promise to invest 40% of the Super Fund in New Zealand when he said on 13 August this year the government is doing its bit by investing overseas through the Super Fund?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, that was in the context of a discussion about, well, if the member listens, a discussion about the fact that New Zealand has, compared to most other developed countries, low outward investment. One of the significant outward investors is the New Zealand Super Fund, which, according to its statutory requirements, diversifies its investment around the world and therefore has a relatively low proportion of its total savings invested in New Zealand. Most of it is in fact invested offshore, and that probably is increasing New Zealand's outward investment.
The Honourable David Parker.
Which of these promises has he failed to deliver on? Investing 40% of the Super Fund in New Zealand, closing the wage gap with Australia, reducing income inequality, or reducing unemployment?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, we've done at least 2 or 3 of those and made excellent progress on the others.
Question number 6, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.